Welcome to the Ms.Esquire Podcast, where we truly believe your network is your net worth. I'm Rahysa Vargas, and I am the founder of Ms.Esquire and your co-host.
I'm Trish Widowfield. I'm the vice president of Ms.Esquire, and I'm your co-host of this podcast.
And we always start every single podcast by thanking the two incredible people that made this all possible. Littler, which is the world's largest employment law firm.
And Professional Interpreting Associates, which provides interpreting and translating services across all fields.
Yes. So thank you to both of them for making this possible.
We are so excited today to have a really special guest. We have Jo Stevens, the founder and CEO of Law Firm Sites. She is very special and near and dear to our hearts, so we're super excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here.
So we start our podcast with the same question for every guest, because the overnight success really didn't take overnight. It really took 20 years. So what do you think are the most important or instrumental seeds that you planted back when you started that has allowed you to have the success today?
Honestly, the hard work, the willing to be absolutely insane and work 80-hour weeks, dedicate yourself, being willing to educate yourself on your own time to be able to have your own personal growth. That is probably the biggest seed I planted for myself anyway in my journey of over the last 20 years.
Yeah. I love that, because if there's anything that I can say about Jo is definitely that she is extremely hardworking. But I'm going to back up and actually, because for those of you guys who don't know Jo and that are watching this, Jo, we met her, I think it was 2.5 years ago.
Yeah. I want to say 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was looking for somebody to do my website, and she was recommended, and she's like, let's get on a call. I'd love to come meet you. And I was like, yeah, let's meet. Where are you located? She's like, Utah. I was like, okay, we could just do this via Zoom. Yeah, I don't know that you need. She's like, no. I insist. I'm gonna fly down to Florida to meet you. And I was like, is this woman insane? Now
we know.
Yes. The answer is yes.
And so I was like, I don't know if that's necessary, but yeah, let's meet. But from the moment I met you, I've had so many people pitch to me like, hey, right, let's do your website. Right. But I always felt like in those conversations, they wanted something else, right?
Sure.
And, Ms.Esquire is a pretty large community, and obviously it would be a great benefit to collaborate. We had never collaborated with anybody ever in our life until Jo came along. It actually didn't start as a collaboration, but I knew from the moment I met you that you were super authentic, genuine. And it's the beginning of our friendship, but also it evolves. As I've gotten to know you more, we've learned how generous you are. Let me just start over that this entire, we don't usually have a tree in the middle of our podcast.
A full forest. Yeah.
I showed up and the guy's like, somebody sent you flowers. I literally look at Jo, because there's not a single person in the world that would ever send me flowers.
I'm standing in the corner.
This big. So I'm like, Jo, did you send these? She's like, yes, I thought they would be smaller. Yeah. So this is why
they're a little bigger than I thought.
But she's always in all the details. So she makes everybody feel so special. And she's just honestly meeting you has been one of the biggest highlights in Ms.Esquire for me. Why am I going to cry?
I'm crying. I'm literally sitting here. I'm trying to be, I'm not crying.
But as I've gotten to know you and getting to know your story, because I didn't get to know your story then. You don't ever lead with who you are. I think people get to know you and see that.
Yeah.
But your story has impacted my life so much. And I love that our first question is always started from the bottom, now we're here. But literally is started from the bottom, we're here.
I'm the child for it.
So why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about your story, how you became the CEO of Law Firm Sites, and where you started?
Oh my goodness. So I'm like, how much time do we have? So 20 years ago, I was in my early 20s. I was going through a divorce. I had a 1-year-old, and I was desperate for, work, for a job, for stability. I needed to be able to support this baby. And so I just started, looking for a job. I was on Facebook ads, Marketplace, Craigslist, everything. And, this job came across on Craigslist that said, looking to hire somebody to clean my home during the day and to clean my business in the evenings. And I grew up cleaning offices with my dad. So my dad owned a janitorial service. So I knew how to clean. I'm like, oh, I've got this job. I can do this. It was one of those feelings, one of those moments where I'm like, this is meant for me. And, so I emailed over and, was begging for the job. Here's my resume. And the funny thing is, I always keep my maiden name. I still have to this day, and a lot of my stuff on my Instagram, on my resume at that time. I have a very memorable maiden name. It's Fish. And the weird thing is, I had sent that email over, and the owner of Law Firm Sites responded, and he said, well, is your maiden name Fish? And are your parents Mel and Linda Fish from Alpharetta, Georgia? And we live in Utah, at this point. And I was like, yes. And he was like, you don't remember me. I'm like 10 years older than you, but we went to church together, and your dad was my scoutmaster. And it was just one of those, like, I knew it was meant to be kind of
Right. Yeah.
Yes. And, so I got the job immediately, and I was cleaning a 7,000 square foot home during the day. And again, at night, I was cleaning law firm sites. I became really good friends with the owner, and a year goes by, and he said, hey, my receptionist just quit. I would love to offer you that position. I'll teach you how to answer phones. You're one of the hardest working people that I know. And so that was kind of that moment of, I knew that hard work pays off. I know that even if I don't know a skill or I don't know how to do something, showing that I can dedicate myself is going to get me more opportunities. And from there, it just, it snowballed. Yeah, I was receptionist. I was then promoted to, project manager, over time, director of development, COO. In 2020, I was the COO, and that owner came to me and was like, hey, I think I'm done. I think I'm going to retire. I'm going to sell the company. I would love to sell it to you. He's like, you have been running it. You have been here for the last, at that point, 15 years, whatever it was. Would you like to buy it? And I have never driven home faster to my husband, and was like, hey, hear me out. Like, you're going to quit your job. We're going to risk everything we have. You're going to have to sell your motorcycle. We need every penny. And we're going to buy this company, and we're going to do something incredible together. And he didn't even hesitate. He was like, let's go. He had seen my dedication over the years. This is my new husband, by the way. Second husband. It's that was in height of COVID, and we have grown over 60% since then, and we're still married. So that's our claim to fame.
What month was that during COVID?
It was October of 2020.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, and I know you have a lot of questions. We're going to be like, we have tons of questions for Jo. But one thing, we got to see her speak.
Yes.
And tell her story all over again. And she first off, she had I don't want to say the best speech, but she had the best speech, one of the best speeches. And she comes out with like what is it called?
Like coveralls.
Yeah, like a janitor outfit.
Coveralls. But a bucket,
a bucket and a mop. Yeah, like the rolling ones.
Yeah. And I love that you take a lot of pride in where you've come. And I think that's so important. It's funny because I come from, my dad also was homeless and worked his way up. But sometimes culturally people are ashamed of sharing their story. And I think the beauty in it is being able to see how far you've come and never forget where you came from. And I think it makes the mountaintop even better because you get to see you were in the valley,
right?
Yeah, how much you've climbed to get to.
I was in the valley way longer than I've been on the mountaintop.
Right.
Even now, it's one of those, when you get to work every single role, when you get to be a part of everything, you realize and you have this respect for there's dignity in every single job. Yeah. Having a job, supporting your family, it doesn't matter what the job is, right? You're being responsible. You're taking care of something, and there's dignity in all work and all jobs.
I love it. It's beautiful, and we were literally crying. We're we've seen this story so many times, and we're like, wait, it's
how am I still crying?
We're so proud of her.
To get off the emotional part for a moment, how much did you actually know about websites before you? I mean, people assume you're the CEO, you know everything about websites. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
When I started receptionist, nothing, absolutely nothing about websites. That is something that I completely taught myself over the years. I did go back to school, during that kind of 20-year run. But I knew nothing about web design, development, nothing about running a company. Honestly, my ultimate goal, my end goal in life was never to own a business. I never wanted to be a business owner. I actually wanted stability. I wanted a salary. I wanted, so I knew absolutely nothing. And I did a lot of just work on my own and training on my own and, teach myself.
And, as we've gotten to know you, we really see you as a visionary, and the way that you lead your team is really special. So can you tell us a little bit about the changes that you made whenever you actually purchased the company?
Oh gosh. Well, we made a lot of changes. I mean, right out the gate, we didn't make many because we were so worried about messing up something that was already kind of running really well. But again, it really helped that I had been in every role. So I understood. I was an advocate for all the other employees, during that journey. So the second that we kind of took over, we did give raises to every single employee that was still there with us, just being grateful. We were like, hey, we know this is a transition. We know this is going to be difficult. We want you to stay. You've been a part of this growth. And we still have a lot of those same employees for the last 15 years. So we didn't make, we took care of our employees. That was number one. No massive changes in the first 2 years. Year 3 is when we started to make really, really big changes at the company because we were maintaining. We weren't growing. Year 3 is when we decided to have a full shift from we're going to focus just on revenue and we're going to focus way more on relationships and building relationships. So that was I had that written up on my board for years too. It was relationships over revenue every day. So, and that is probably the biggest change we've made that has made such a significant difference in our business.
And how did you change that message into the culture of the workplace, the culture of the team?
Yeah. It was mainly hey, guys, we're not just going to focus on getting something done for the client and them not being happy with it or just quickly delivering it, doing it quick, doing it fast. It was way more, we want people to enjoy the process. There are, web developers, web designers, we're a dime a dozen. We're everywhere. Yeah. What makes us special? What makes us different? And that is us. That is the culture. That is the employees. That is the customer service that we're giving back to all of our clients.
And as a customer of yours, one thing that I know that Rahysa and I love is everything. Everything, number one. Number two is anytime we send a message or a request to your team, immediately we get, I'm on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it I'm on it like a phrase that you guys have everywhere?
It literally is. I think it's in our handbook now too at this point. It's something that I kind of just did early on before I owned the company and everything. I just realized that people just love to know, that their email, their message has been received.
Got it.
Right? I got it. I'm on it. I'm not doing it right this second, but hey, I'm on it for you. I'm handling it.
Yeah.
And I just got such good response and it built such good relationships with people. It's, hey, we're going to mess up at some point down the road or with a client, or we're going to miss something or a deadline. And by just building that positive relationship with them early on of hey, we are on your stuff. We are taking care of it. You are front of mind. It's, hey, when you do mess up, there's nobody's stressed out. Nobody's upset. It's no problem. 100%.
But I want to say you guys are on it and on it quickly. I want to know how to be on it and on it like that. Because I'm like, okay, so all right, Jill, can you go ahead? This is not an emergency. It'll just be it crosses my mind. I'm like, hey, Jill. Joe's emailed. Both of them are I'm on it. But I'm like, okay, but then they're on it and then it's been done within an hour. I'm like, but how do you guys live? I can't get on it that quick. I'm telling my team we need to be on it. But then do you guys write it down? But half the time it gets done immediately. But do you write it down? What's going on here? How do you on it so much?
Honestly, our system, our our back-end system that we use for all of our clients, I actually built over the last 15 years. We call it pools.
Okay.
And it just has a task system in it. So it's the second that an email comes through, it pulls automatically and puts it into a task for a developer. And all of our developers know that it has to be done immediately. So they actually will prioritize as well. I'm
both looked at each other
we need yes, it will just and it auto assigns it, and so it's and my staff knows, hey, I just got
what I would love is exactly. Whenever Rahysa has an idea, it goes into her head and it comes out her mouth, and that would be lovely if it came out of her mouth and went into that task
and went into pools. There you go. Yeah.
I gave her another idea last night, and she almost couldn't sleep. You were part of that text message.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I have another idea. Trish, don't kill me. And she's like, oh God, I need to call you right now or I won't be able to sleep.
I wouldn't have been able to sleep.
It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Anyways, so let's talk about being a business owner. I know constantly we're sending each other memes about how hard it is to be in this world. Everybody that is an entrepreneur, I feel like we're part of this not sisterhood, brotherhood situation.
Yeah.
But like it's a different world.
You're in the trenches together. You
there-
understand.
There's highs and there's lows.
Yes.
But tell me, what do you think has been one of the lowest lows in owning a business, and what has made it all worth it for you?
Well, it's always been all worth it, but that's one thing that when, I'll get to like the lows, but that my husband and I working together, we've always said when we have the really low lows, we're like, this is so much better than ever having to work for somebody else though. Like no matter what, no matter how low we feel right now, we're going to make it work. Like we love being business owners. We love being able to have an environment and provide work to people that want to come to their job every day. We're like, hey, it's worth it no matter what. We're going to make this work. But some of our lowest lows, I mean, it was, I would say 2 years in, well, early on, our business partner who we bought the company from, we didn't have a great exit. It was a very abrupt, very quickly to just kind of leave us for us to kind of figure things out. And then we had realized 3-4 months into us buying this company and hadn't really heard from him that he had started a competing business against us. Wow. So that was, I'm like, this is something that, I did just recently share on stage when I kind of gave my speech, but something that we had kept to ourselves for the last 4 or 5 years. Like it's not something that we would share. It's something I was embarrassed about. I mean, now I look back and I'm like, why would I be embarrassed? But it's one of those, people believed in me and were excited for me, and we just risked our entire lives. And, are we going to go under? Is everything in 3 months, we're going to lose it? So that, that day, that was a really, really bad day for us. And honestly, those first 2 years were extremely hard. There were most days where I was, I'm getting up and I'm putting makeup on and I'm going to work and I'm putting on a good face for my employees. I still have a business to run. I still have a child to raise. And, and then at night when everything's done, I, cry in my bed and cry myself to sleep. And, and then you gotta just keep pressing forward. And that was just one of those ones that, it's good now when we've gotten to a good place, and hindsight is 2020. Looking back, I'm like, I'm happy that we went through that. We're now at a better point. We understand how to get through difficult things, but at the time, it's a real struggle, and it's something I wish I would have shared while it was kind of happening. I would have been more vocal about it. I feel like I would have had more support, but I kept that in for years.
Yeah, you didn't know. You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
That's a big part of like when you start a business, you really don't know until you start it. All the things you really do not know. But is there something that you wish, I mean, I'm sure hindsight's 2020, maybe like when you purchased a company, like having a non-compete or something where they would have not been able to.
We did have a really good non-compete.
Okay, did
we did? Yeah.
They won that war.
We did.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's good. Like I'm learning things on here. But is there something you wish you would have done differently from the beginning, aside from obviously sharing what you guys went through? But is there anything you wish you would have done a little bit different from the beginning?
Yeah. So you had said that those questions over last night, and I was really looking at that question, and I was really thinking about it, and there's not. I honestly don't think there is anything that I would change. If I look back and I'm like, well, I would have changed that. I would change that because that would have made things easier for me. Well, I wouldn't be the person that I am now if I went through easier times, if it was easier for me, if it was, I feel like every single trial, every single mistake that we've made, and I've made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
It has made me a better business owner because of it, a better person because of it. It's made me honestly a lot more chill on things of like, hey, I've been through way bigger things than this. This is not that bad. I'm okay.
Some stuff.
That's good. I don't know that that's happening to me. I feel like the opposite is happening to me. I'm like,
just get more and more ramped up.
I get ramped up. I'm like, I'm still like super perfectionist.
Yeah.
And I find it's hard for me to like put out a product that's doesn't represent me. You know what I mean? And what does that mean? Like, I feel like the organization as Ms.Esquire as a whole, but if there's something that like doesn't represent us, I like get wound up.
Yeah.
That's one word for it.
Whatever. Okay. Okay. That's good to know.
So, obviously you're the title sponsor of Ms.Esquire.
She is.
Which we
Grateful
love
to
you
be
for.
so.
We appreciate you and we're grateful for you. But let's talk a little bit about networking as a business owner. I imagine that's different than networking as an employee. So how important is it for you as the business owner for networking?
Extremely important. Like, I was saying kind of before, when we were 2 years in and decided to shift towards relationships instead of revenue, like that was going to be our ultimate goal. It was, the company had been run on, we were in Utah and we were just behind our screens and people didn't really know who we were. We didn't go to conferences. We didn't network. We didn't meet with people. The majority of our business that came in was from, we had direct email campaigns where we were mass emailing attorneys, and just, hey, we redid your website. Can we send you a free look, a free design? That was the majority of the business that came in. And we realized, that you can't scale that into something incredible and amazing. Plus, I wanted those relationships. I wanted to be able to know my clients face to face and be with them and build those relationships and that trust. So, networking is the main thing that has fully changed our business in the last 2 years. Was making that decision. It was going through every client that we had at the time and realizing that 35% of our entire clientele we had was in the state of Florida. And so my husband and I were like, guess we're going to the state of Florida. Like that was one of those, I'm like, how many clients do I have now, and ones that love me, and please intro me, please introduce me to, your friends and people that and networking is that baseline for all of that has completely changed how we market, where my marketing dollars go, and all the flights that I'm on now. So,
it's funny because I've always been a believer of networking is your second full-time job.
Yeah, it is.
You have to treat it that way.
Yep.
You and Dirk take it to the next level. I mean, the amount of times that you're on a flight.
Yeah. It's scary.
Speaking of, what time did you get into?
6:25 this morning. Okay. So, yeah.
You need to go to sleep. And this is coming from somebody that doesn't sleep, so I'm just gonna put it out there. You need to sleep. No, but I think it's great. That's actually how we all met. Like one of your clients actually introduced it, which she's one of our members, but she introduced us. So I think it's so important. I love that. I feel like, interestingly enough, you guys know about SEO, about websites, you know how to use digital marketing.
We do.
More than anything in the world, in the World Wide Web, to send it out and have campaigns and funnels and all the things, and still think there's a lot of value in networking.
Well, there's nothing that compares to it, though. Yeah, that's that's all I do is marketing. That's all I do is online, and absolutely nothing compares to in person and forming those relationships and networking. Nothing.
Yeah, and I think that's so critical, even in our group, because there's something to say like, yes, you could have just done my website had we just done a Zoom, but obviously this relationship has grown. Yeah. And people are invested in the people that they've networked and become 100%. Friends with and have done life with. And that is so important. I think it's I always think what an honor. I got to close on Joe's house and Trisha's mom's. I was just thinking that. I was like, and Trisha's mom. But I think there's something you want people in your sphere to succeed. Yeah. And that's the difference that networking does versus an email campaign. Yeah, you can get a client like that. But if every single person in your network sent you, what Sierra said, if you had 300 people in your network and they all sent you one client, your business would quadruple, So yeah, so important.
And you have really reached that level where now everyone just knows you as Joe. Literally we talk about you at meetings and we're like, oh, Joe's coming down, and we don't have to say Joe Stevens with law firm sites. We just say Joe.
Website. We just Joe. Yeah.
So let's talk about scaling your business. You have really had great success. Tell us about the growth that you've experienced in the past 2 years.
So the past 2 years we've gone up over 60%. I was actually looking at those numbers last night, and I was like,
on the plane?
Yeah, on the plane. On the plane. And it was so because I'm showing my husband just the laptop too, and I'm like, but look at how far we've come. It was just one of those just neat moments too of things do pay off. Hard times do pay off. So yeah, I'm we've grown over 60% in the last 2 years. A year ago, and from Ms.Esquire specifically, that year was 30%. That was directly from Ms.Esquire.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm excited for her to teach. She's going to be teaching. We're going to need to do multiple times,
I imagine.
webinars on Joe teaching on how she scales. But that's impressive, my friend. But it also is not, it's not a surprise to me because when you meet Joe, everybody's like, oh my God, I love Joe. You leave an impact on everybody you meet. And I think it's authenticity. It's so often we talk about when we meet people and they're not authentic and all they want to do is get something from somebody they meet, which is terrible because people can sense it,
Oh, absolutely.
And I love that your generosity pours over. It could just be hey, maybe you don't have the budget for this. Let me teach you how to do it for free.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the gift that keeps on giving. Like people can see that.
Well, it builds trust. You know, it's I don't want to just take your money. I actually want your business to do well. I want your website to do well. If you can't afford me, let me just show you how to do it. You know, let me just teach you how to do it. And then I know eventually, or when they get to a certain point, I've built that trust, and that when they're ready, then they'll be like, hey, Joe, I'm ready to do it. I can't afford you now. Or, you know what I mean? I can't invest in this marketing. And so it definitely, again, it's just building the relationships. It's more important if you start focusing on relationships over just dollars, over, you know, that is where the revenue grows from.
That's just so unique, not only in your industry, but in like our current times.
Yeah.
Because everyone is kind of out to like.
For themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you wanted to give like one piece of advice to somebody that wants to scale their business, what would it be?
Oh, gosh. Make sure you want to scale your business. No, be prepared. Be ready for it. Yes. Be ready for the growth. That is definitely a big one. Something that I personally have had to learn, with my business is, and it's always a hard one, and I actually kind of get emotional about it, is knowing when to let the wrong people go. You know, that's
tough.
It's so tough. It's so hard. And especially when you've had employees for a really long time. So that's like, you feel like there's the loyalty there, but they, you know, maybe they don't have a great attitude and they're bringing down the other employees, or maybe it's just having the right people on the bus to help your growth, to help you scale is so important. And it can sway your business either way, you know? So that has been the most difficult thing for me in scaling my business. So be sure you have the right people on the bus.
I know that those are hard decisions to make, but have you ever regretted one of those decisions?
Not one.
I didn't think so.
Not one. Not one. It probably took me way longer to get to the decision because I didn't want to do it, or I would put it off, or I'd be like, well, there's hope, or I'll talk with them. I'll get in this point. And it's like, sometimes people just aren't the right fit, and that's okay. You know, and letting people go with love and with grace, and helping them to kind of move forward. But I've never regretted it, not one time.
I think one thing that was hard for me, like when we've been busy, is that we weren't ready for the growth. You know, like when we've been busy, we didn't have enough people, or I didn't feel like we were getting to emails as quickly as I'd want to, because we had too many like clients. And then also it's happened. I've become better at that, but I don't know if you saw like a shift in you, in terms of your company, you know, as you've scaled. Any other hurdles that you think, man, like this is one thing you definitely should prepare for. So if you're going out to like network and do all the events, make sure that you have like people in place, or
absolutely have systems, have processes in place. Honestly, that leads into the next of like it. One of, you know, my biggest fears is hiring on people because we have like a spike, we have a growth, we have a whatever, and then I have to let them go in the roller coaster of, you know, having clients and not. I never want to bring somebody on and have them switch jobs and then we have to let them go because we had a spike and stuff. So we've learned to kind of have the proper processes in place for the growth. Then it's, you know, if we've taken on a huge influx of clients and work for a certain amount of time, you know, whatever it is, that it's now exceeding that process. That's the time. Then it's okay. Now we're ready to bring on more employees. We're ready to grow at that point.
It's great. We actually, so talking about websites, I didn't even think websites were that important. I'm sorry, Jeff. I didn't think websites were that important until I saw how bad mine was. But we had a terrible website. Candidly, I think I built it myself for Ms.Esquire.com, and it was atrocious. Like the members, like you would look at it on your phone and like the names from
right. It wouldn't match up with the
person's name because it wasn't set up for mobile. And so we desperately needed a website. It's like my website story is like, you know, rags to riches story. You know,
there you
started
go.
from the bottom, now it's here. You know, but
now it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful. But I think what I've learned in the process, because she's done my website for Vargas Law, and she's done my, obviously, Miss Esquire's website's the one she did first. But one of the things I've learned along the way in this process with you is that I also think that people, I mean, it's no surprise, people now use the internet more than anything. Before they call you, before they get referred, they actually look to see. I have opposing counsels all the time asking the most random question, like, was your wedding in the New York Times? I'm like, what is that even?
I think that's one of the first questions I asked you because I Googled you. Yeah. It's one of the first things that comes up.
People Google, you know? So I feel like the websites are literally your first impressions. Like the first,
Absolutely.
because people may not even pick up the phone. So the first impression is what you have on the website.
Yeah.
So it's so important because I think it legitimizes your business more than anything. And the reality is I don't think that enough people understand that, especially like old school. We have old school people that have been doing law in our group for over 30 plus years.
True.
And they're like, we don't have a website. Everything is word of mouth. And we're like, it's actually not. People will be like, let me find them.
Well, even if it is word of mouth, so there's two. My understanding. This is me, Trish on websites.
Yeah,
okay?
hit me.
There are two reasons to have a website. One would be if you want to use it to actually get business. And then the second one is to actually legitimize yourself. So word of mouth is one thing. And if everyone hears, oh, Trish Widowfield is a great medical malpractice attorney, what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to Google me. Of course. And then they're going to look at my website, right?
Of course.
You need to have both sides, I think.
Yeah, that's one of those, it's, when we talk to people, it's like, oh, well, all of my business is referrals. I mean, I don't really get anything from my website. I don't, and I'll pull up their website and it was, built in 1991. It's terrible. And that's one of those we tell people, I'm like, even if you're getting referrals, what do you think that those referrals are doing? Very first thing that they're going to do. Yeah. So somebody has told them, hey, use so-and-so attorney. They were incredible. Well, of course, you're going to look them up. You're going to Google them. I'm like, that's still going to be a very first impression for someone. And if they're getting on your site and it doesn't look professional, well, that's going to reflect on them that they don't look very professional. Well, they're not investing in their firm to make it, to make it look good, or the images are, 40 years old. And then you get on the phone with somebody and they look nothing like the image that was on there. And, I'm like, that reflects on the firm.
Yeah. They're catfishing. Lots of catfishing people out there. You're like, wait, who is this?
Yeah. Who is that? Yeah.
Meet them
Are you their grandfather? Yeah.
I agree.
What are some common mistakes that businesses make with their websites?
One of the biggest ones that we see a lot, and we have to kind of veer clients when we're building for them, is they are so focused on what they like and what they think that it should be, or it should be cool and it's stylish here, and they're not actually thinking. I'm like, hey, the website is not for you, for your firm. It's for your target audience. It's for your potential clients. So be sure that when you're building it, that you're actually focusing on that and not necessarily what you think is cool or hip, or I'm like, hey, that's not going to really convert traffic for you if we lay it out that way. Right. Your goal ultimately, is to be able to get more people there and convert them. Well, if you just want one big giant video on there and just your big picture, nowhere for people to fill out a form or contact you, that's not really working towards your goal. So
yeah, like if Trisha had to design a website based on what she likes, it would be pink. It would be pink. Yeah.
Well, I'll support you on that.
My website is not pink.
Yeah. But it would be, but if her target audience was medical malpractice, which is not like a pink subject,
right?
It would really, and
it's off-putting.
Yes, it's off-putting, and it's like, you're not the Elle Woods of medical malpractice,
I'm not.
But I think that I've seen people on their website, to your point, where there's like pink and purple with like butterflies and graphics. And I'm like, what is going on right now? It's like, who is going to hire that? I actually really like, what do you think about red? I love red.
I love red. It's a very power color.
Exhibit
love
A.
red.
I love red. I don't know. I've always liked red. And then I'm like, I know you did a whole presentation on colors.
I did.
But what I've found after I really like red, and I had already picked red for everything, right? I have found that every successful company, a lot of successful companies picked red.
Mm-hmm.
Like McDonald's.
Yes.
Target. Love a good Target.
And the thing is, it's a very aggressive color, not in a bad way. I actually say that in a positive way, but it just needs to be used correctly. It's like, it needs to be your 10%. It needs to be 10% of everything needs to be red. And then the rest, you use more neutral colors. You use it as like your pop of color.
Yeah. Unless you buy
a ridiculous bouquet of flowers.
I love it. Tiger Woods would wear red every Sunday.
Oh, good.
There you go.
Did you not know that?
I don't watch golf. Yeah.
I don't either, but somehow I know that. But because his mom said that he needed a power color on Sunday, which is the clothing.
Power color. I mean, you know what? Maybe it was just like in my DNA. I was like, boom, red. You know what I mean? That's
So is there something about website development that people underestimate, or they don't understand like how much work it is?
Yeah. Oh, all the time. Not generally with the development side of things, usually with the like SEO side of things, the ranking side of things, that's usually where people underestimate or don't understand or, think that things are easy. It does happen on the development side here and there when it's like, oh, well, I could just get a site off of Wix or a templated site off Squarespace for, $59. And it's one of those, you've just got to focus on, you do kind of get what you pay for. If it is a templated thing, I'm like, you still have to build that. You kind of still have to get on and you still have to decide and put things together. And there's still effort and work that goes into all of it. So it's like, why not hire somebody to build it for you and do it well and make sure that it's optimized correctly?
Yeah. So speaking about SEO, which is something that I don't really understand.
Yeah.
So let me not ask any.
Or you can give us the 8-year-old version of that. Explain it to us like we're 8.
Yeah. How do people use SEO to really scale and grow their business? And what does that look like?
So, we kind of talked about how websites are your first impression. That's what everybody's doing now, right? You're being Googled. You're pulling up on Google your website. SEO, so search engine optimization, is the organic way for Google to place your site when somebody is searching, if they're searching your name or if they're searching for personal injury attorney in Miami. You want to be one of those first ones that actually pops up on page 1, right? People aren't clicking to page 2 to page 3
right, and
going through all of those. So having a well-optimized site and something that is constantly, you're adding new content to it, new refreshing content, stuff that you're showing Google, hey, we actually know what we're talking about at our firm and we really care about our clients and we really want their questions answered. That is what is going to gain you ranking and actually get your site to be pulled up and to be on page 1. But it is a very long game. It's one thing that we have to tell people constantly is this is not something that's overnight. If it was overnight, then everybody would be on there.
Yeah.
It for sure is something that you need to dedicate time to and be patient with.
Yeah, and let's say you're starting off and obviously you don't have the budget to do SEO because you probably need a few clients before you can do that.
Of course.
And they at least did a website with Joe, which I recommend. What can they do if SEO is not an option? Like, what's other options right now? I know you give a lot of advice about using free tools that already, whether that's like ChatGPT or doing blogs, or so what are some free tools that people can do to maximize their visibility if they don't have the budget to do SEO?
Yeah, the number one thing I tell people all the time is be sure that you create a Google My Business profile.
Right.
Not hard to do, very easy, free to do.
You need an address though.
Yes, you do need an address.
Yes, your house.
Yep. Yeah, please don't put your house on it.
People work from home.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
And start getting people to leave you reviews. That is the biggest free thing that you can do to start helping your business to grow online. Google is looking at that as one of their top factors. When they're wanting to rank you, when they're wanting to put you out there, it's one of, it's one slice of a pie. But reviews are so important. And it's easy to do, right? Just make sure you have that profile created and start sending that link to your clients. Hey, would you mind leaving me an honest review? I'm trying to build my Google reviews, whatever it is, and build those reviews up. Get as many 5-star reviews as you can.
Yeah.
That's easy. That's free. That's number one what people should be
That's so important because let me tell you, first, I try to leave a review on everybody that I've used, my friends, people that I've sent clients to, because it is extremely important. People are always looking at it. I do not travel to any hotel without looking at people's reviews, because here's what I do know about reviews. 90% of the time, people will leave a bad review before they ever leave a good review.
Oh, absolutely.
Which means you about to find out everything in the closet before you will ever find out a good thing about that person, right? So I'm like, let me see what they said about this hotel before I go, you know? So I think it's so important because people do the same thing when they're going to go to a doctor, when they're going to hire an attorney. Absolutely. It's so important that people... if the only thing they see is good, or let's say you just have one, because we're all going to have the one client who has lost her mind, and that it may or may not have been the reason for it. But like also when you have people are still going to hire you if you have 200 good reviews and then one that you really need it.
Honestly, the one or two, it makes you a real person. It makes it, and when you do get those bad ones, respond to them. That is something I tell people all the time. They'll be panicked about it, or hey, we got a bad review, and I'm like, respond to it. Have a respectful response on there. Again, show Google that hey, we are human beings. We make mistakes, but we are willing to help and fix the problem. We do really care that they had a bad experience. So respond like that. That's probably one of the biggest things for those bad reviews.
Yeah, I've seen hotels are like, ma'am, you came to the we offered you a you've seen them. They're like, you got a cabana and your husband said, like, they'll like put all the details. Like, oh, they got you, girl.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you're upset about, but you got free cabana.
Well, talking about budgeting, how do you deal with clients who really like want everything? They want the Mercedes, but they have the Honda budget.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
me.
You know, you're like, that's me. So we go back to the teaching. It's a lot of times too, though. We do have packages for every stage of where somebody is in their marketing journey. You know, we for sure do. We want to be affordable. I want people to be able to grow their business, and I know that I can help them with that. But anybody, you know, people that if you can't afford it or you're on a journey, you need to get to a certain point. We offer a lot of trainings or a lot of teaching, or it's hey, you know, we'll do a lower package. You know, you can write all of the content, but we're going to give you the exact topics and stuff to write on about it. That will save you some money, you know, but that way we can start getting some stuff done for you, and we'll just provide the guidance, the steps. We'll teach you how to actually do it.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us where listeners can connect with you and learn more about you?
So you can go to our website, which is lawfirmsites, sites.com. And you're welcome to email me as well. It's Jo, no E on it, just J-O, at lawfirmsites.com.
Awesome.
I didn't realize. Jo with no E.
I have to say that all the time. People always put the E. They put J-O-E. I'm like, no, it's just J-O. It's the feminine version.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we loved having you on here.
Thank
we
you guys.
love having you in our lives, and you've really made Ms.Esquire a lot better. With our website and with the Circle platform. So thank you for everything that you do for us.
Yes, everything beautiful that has a digital is on the website, on the World Wide Web, Jo has created, and we're really grateful. Honestly, you have taken Ms.Esquire also to another level in the way that it looks, the first impression, and we're just super grateful. Plus, our team is like, honestly, if you hire Jo, I'm not even here because I don't get anything. I don't get like cuts. There's no like commissions or anything. Is there a code we should put on this? But I genuinely, I remember when I first met you, I said, I don't like give anybody's information out unless I've used it, because I don't want to be selling anything to anybody, right?
Of course.
And the reality is that Trish and I have been so grateful because our experience with you, not only as a person, but even originally first on a business side, was so phenomenal. So I think anybody that, and everybody in our group has said the exact same thing. It's been so responsive and so great. There's really no one like you. Anybody could do a website, but there's really no one like you. So we appreciate you. We're grateful that you got to come and share this time with you. Thank you for flying in from Utah.
Of course.
Yes.
And for the flowers, the tree.
Thank you guys.
So we at Ms.Esquire hope that you continue to grow your network and your net worth until we see you on the next episode of Ms.Esquire.
Yeah, and for more episodes like this, please comment, like, and subscribe. And if you want more information about how to join Ms.Esquire, please email us at admin@msesquire.com. See you on the next one.